The dude counts too. I really believe that fertility is a couple's issue. I'm Denise Noyer-Erez, and I am the Fertility Godmother, and I help women that have been struggling to get pregnant prepare for pregnancy and save them time and pain on their path to pregnancy. Hi, good to see you. Today we're going to be talking about male fertility and how important that is on your journey. So grab your cup of tea and come join me as we dive into that, and we dive into what it looks like to have good quality sperm and some ways that you can help increase the quality of the sperm in most cases. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I would love to answer them for you. I do have a couple things that I wanted to go over. Is first of all, what is male fertility? Because if you're trying to get pregnant, whether you're just starting out or you've been struggling to get pregnant, it takes two. And a lot of times, tell me if you can relate to this, a lot of times it's all about the woman and her eggs. And the thing is it's both, right? You're taking the DNA. So it just makes sense that they both need to be as healthy as possible to create a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby, right? Give me a thumbs up or some hearts if you understand what I'm talking about. So we are getting some research to prove that. I personally don't think we need to. I keep getting this flash and it's driving me crazy. I don't know what it is. I personally don't think we need the research for that, but it's always good to have research, and it'll just affirm, because our society has veered so much to it being all about the woman. And I always say it's true. We are very powerful and our eggs are very, very strong. And at the same time, it does matter. Thank you. Yes. Good to see you, Tatiana. It does matter, the sperm. It just does. So even if you have, just think about it. If you're having more challenges, then you both need to work a little bit harder together to make the baby. And the harder the egg has to work to correct all the imperfections or problems that of creating. So that's why it's so important to really have both of you be really important. So I want to start, just back up a little bit and start from the beginning. So one thing I want you to make sure is that your partner, your male partner, has had a semen analysis at the very least. But I want you to know semen analysis isn't everything. It just gives us some information. It gives us information as far as how many sperm there are. Are there enough to help fertilize an egg naturally? Do you need to go through an insemination? Do you need to do IVF? So that gives you that kind of overview, outside appearance, to make sure that things are functioning on that level properly. So it looks at how much you have, it looks at the shape, it looks at, are they moving in the right direction, right? This is basic, it's really important. And one thing that is also important to ask about and check in is if there's any infection in that semen analysis. They should be checking also to see if there's any infection, if the semen is, the fluid is too thick, or if, it'll tell you that, it'll tell you about the pH. These are really important clues to. If you've been struggling and you've been doing this for a while, or you've had several failed IVFs, then you might want to even take it a step further and do what's called a DNA fragmentation test, where they take a look and they actually see if the DNA strands are fragmenting or if they're pretty solid and together. Stress. Am I frozen? I don't know what's going on here. Because oxidative stress has a really big impact on also male fertility. So I talk about it a lot for the quality of our eggs. It also impacts the quality of the sperm. So that leads me to, what can you do to help improve sperm quality, right? One thing you also, if there is you do have low amount of sperm or you have really bad quality, you might want to get checked with a reproductive urologist and look for what's called a varicocele. A varicocele is like a varicose vein in the testes, and what that does is it creates what we call, I guess in Western and Chinese medicine, blood stagnation. So there's not a lot of circulation that goes on, and it also can heat the sperm up. So that can cause a problem, that can cause damage. So there's different degrees of that varicocele. Some of them are very minor and not really a big deal, and some of them you need to have a procedure. And then at that point you can discuss, well, do we want to have the procedure for the varicocele, or should we just go to IVF? That would be something for you guys to think about and explore. But you want to know what you're dealing with so you can make your because I see that a lot. Another thing you can test if there's a low number, a really low number of sperm, is you probably want to test hormones, because sometimes men can get treated with hormones just like we can, right? They can also get treated with hormones. And look at also the medication if they're on medication. Those are, that's something else. So some medication, like heart medication, high blood pressure medication, antidepressants, those can interfere with sperm quality. So take a look at, you want to look at everything, and sometimes you need some support. And someone like myself, I would love to help you, but you need to get the support, or go to your doctor and ask these questions. It's so important if that's something that you're struggling with. Not frozen, just voice goes in and out sometimes. Oh, okay, thank you. I thought you were asking about frozen sperm, which I might as well talk about. I don't know what's happening with my internet today. Sorry guys, I hope you're able to hear me and get enough clarity from this. So I just want to mention frozen sperm just because I just brought it up. And so frozen sperm works fine if you're going to be doing an IUI, or which is an intrauterine insemination, or you're going to be doing IVF. It can work fine. It's not as good as fresh sperm. So if you have an opportunity to use fresh sperm, I would always recommend trying to use the fresh sperm. Sometimes circumstances happen where you have to use frozen sperm, and that's okay. But just know that it's the quality, it's just not as up to par as having fresh sperm. Yes, we have the issue with blood pressure meds. Yes, that was really important to take a look, and maybe there's you can switch some of them out or decrease them so that there's not a problem with the sperm quality. It's really, really important if you want to get pregnant. But blood pressure is life-threatening, so you have to make sure that that's being balanced out and monitored, or taken care of naturally, or figuring out a different type of medication with your doctor would be really helpful for you. So things that you can do to improve the quality of sperm. There's lifestyle, right? So drugs, drugs are, if you're having a problem getting pregnant, then drugs you shouldn't be doing. And now it takes 90 days for sperm to regenerate. So the other thing is drugs and alcohol impact the quality of the sperm. That can increase chance of miscarriage. So you want to make sure that if your partner does, I see a lot of men that like to smoke marijuana, or it's here in California, it's legal, and they don't want to give it up, or they can't wait to get back to it. So, but I always recommend, at least be off for the 90-day period to get your sperm really healthy. And make sure you stay off until your wife is until you're safely pregnant, for at least into the second trimester, because it can increase the chance of miscarriage. And what if you have to try again? You don't want to have to start all over and prolong the time. The other thing I have to say that drives me crazy is a lot of times men aren't even tested, and then later on down the road we find out that they have an issue as well. So please make sure that you get your male partner tested to make sure. Is the sperm worsening with freezing longer? No, I think you're asking if it decreases in the quality the longer you have it saved. No, it does not. So it just decreases, the whole process itself just decreases it. They still it's still a really good option. I just wanted to say, if you can choose to have fresh sperm over frozen, it's better. Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, right? And that's okay. So the supplements that are really important to help with. So we want to avoid drugs and alcohol. I like to say limit up to 4 drinks maximum a week, 4 normal sized drinks, and not these, big, I don't know what they're called, barrels of beer, but normal sized drinks. You want to keep it unlimited, on a minimum, just like as with us. Okay, so we have less when we're trying to get pregnant, but the guys also need to monitor that and decrease that. It's really important. The other thing is also having a healthy diet, lots of good vegetables, really important. Watching the blood sugar, also important, because that's all going to affect the quality of the sperm. And remember, it takes 90 days. So even though men produce sperm every day, it takes 90 days, just like it takes us over 100 days to release an egg, for that egg to grow and mature. It takes men 90 days for it to go through the whole maturation process as well. So it's important to make sure that you are staying on this track for a long period of time and making sure that your journey is at its best, right? Is a keto diet bad for male fertility? No. I think keto diet can be really helpful. I think it's really individual. I think men fare better with keto diets than women in general. I think as women, we do need some carbs, a small amount. If you're having healthy, high quality fats, then that's fine. That's a good question. But some supplements that can be really helpful are antioxidants, because of which, as I mentioned earlier, about the oxidative stress really can impact the quality of the sperm. So anything that can help offset are pycnogenol and resveratrol. Those are really high potent antioxidants that help diminish the oxidative stress. And the other ones that are really known for and studied are L-carnitine, L-arginine, zinc, vitamin C, vitamin E, and beta-carotene. Those are the ones that have been studied a lot. So, you want to make sure you're getting enough zinc and vitamin D, guys. Vitamin D also needs to be checked for the guys as well, making sure that it's in a good number. So make sure that you get that tested and that you're supplementing it. So my favorite basic supplements, if I was to put it in a little package and wrap it up for you for men, just if there was no problem at all, would be a high quality multivitamin with no iron, a fish oil, and a vitamin D. That would be just the basic. And then if you want to up that a little bit to really help with egg quality, to help with if there's any challenges with motility or morphology, then you're going to want to increase the antioxidants, and you could add pycnogenol or the L-arginine, L-carnitine, the vitamin C, the zinc, and the vitamin E. Those are all going to be really helpful in helping protect the sperm from oxidative stress, which will help, literally helps the quality. There's so much research on that. Is there research with correlation or causation between sleep positions and sperm health? I can't imagine that as being something valid. I try to avoid my favorite side sleeping position to avoid squishing my swimmers. Oh, that's cute. No, you don't have to worry about that. There is research about bike riding and your swimmers, but not the way you sleep. That's not going to be a problem. When you sleep, you probably don't want to wear any tight underwear. You probably want to let yourself be a little bit free, if you will, so you can have air. So it's when the testicles get too hot or they're squished for too period of time, that's when damage can happen at that point. That's a great question. So don't worry about your sleeping position. No, that's not a problem. But if you're riding a bike, and some people can ride a bike, so I always like to measure, I like to look at the whole picture, right? If you're somebody who's an avid bike rider and you're trying to get pregnant and there's some challenges there's some challenges with the sperm, it doesn't necessarily mean you can avoid riding a bike, but maybe you're not going to be doing 100-mile rides right now. And then there's also those special seats you can do, but you want to measure, also stress, because stress impacts sperm as well, big time. There's a lot of research on how stress, in fact, this is actually another thing that I just brought up that triggered a memory for me is a lot of times men will have to do a semen analysis twice because it's so stressful doing it the first time. They want to make sure that, you know, that there hasn't been any changes, or maybe that if it comes back low, because it is very stressful. So even just that action can affect the ejaculation. So ladies, remember that when you're wanting to make love to your honey and it's that time around that cycle, not to put too much pressure, because they're gonna get performance anxiety. They're also, if they're feeling stressed, you know, that's gonna impact the quality of their sperm too. So that's I want to make sure to share that with you. So try to keep it, you know, I always recommend just having sex about 3 times a week. You can increase it around that time a month, but don't put that pressure on your honey to perform, because I know that every month matters, but try to keep it as light and fun as much as you can in the bedroom, because that's going to help his sperm and hopefully keep things a little bit more enjoyable there for you. So there you have it. Those are my tips for male fertility. I've been doing blogs all week dedicated to this, and because I think it's really important. I know the guys really want to do things to support you, and sometimes they just get left on the sideline, and there are things that you can do. And you guys, you have to ask for help. You have to ask what you can do, what you can avoid. And if the doctor tells you, no, you're fine, then, you know, come back and look at this, because there are things you can do. So, and really it comes back to just being as healthy as you can in mind, body, and soul. All right. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next week on Tea with the Fertility Godmother. I'm Denise Noyer-Erez, and I'll see you soon. Take care.